Hey, how you doing, Clarksville? I'm Army Sergeant Joe Padula with the 2nd Brigade, 101st Airborne Division, Air Assault, and you are listening to Air Strike. Now, Air Strike is the strike radio show for the 2nd BCT, also known as the Strike Brigade, and it's dedicated to telling you, the listening audience, the strike story. And I got to tell you something, you know, it's been an honor to tell the strike story here at Fort Campbell, and I'm very proud and honored to be sitting here relaying the message to you guys. And you know, if you can't understand the dialect, I apologize. I'm a New York guy, you know, and I'm a combat correspondent for the brigade. And yeah, hopefully you guys can deal with the absolutelys and the bada bings and the forget about it's, because if you can get past that, you're going to be able to listen to some great soldiers telling their stories right here on the airwaves, you know. And for today's show, we got some special stuff. We're going to be talking about what is the Strike Brigade. Why did the Strike Brigade send somebody over here to tell you about them? Let me tell you why. Because they are just this amazing bunch of people, not only today but yesterday as well. And I have such a passion in making sure that you guys are well aware of this, especially here in this community, which is a fantastic community here at Clarksville. All right, and you know, more about me. I'm a New York guy, and I'll tell you, it really is a fish out of water story out here. But I'm swimming pretty good now, and yeah, I'm really digging the Fort Campbell area. You guys are a little crazy with your winters here. I thought this was the South, but yeah, Mother Nature lied to me, because this winter was way too cold. But now we finally got some warm weather. The doors are open up over here, and I'll tell you what, when we get back and we return from this break, we're going to talk about what is a combat correspondent and what is strike history. So stay tuned, and yeah, I'll talk to you soon. Absolutely.
Heard about the new $5 million multiplier spectacular instant game from the Tennessee Lottery?
$5 million multiplier spectacular?
Yeah, largest top prize in Tennessee Lottery instant game history.
Largest top prize?
Yep, 10 prizes from $1 million to $5 million.
$5 million bucks?
Yeah, over $160 million in total prizes.
$160 million?
What, are you just repeating me?
$5 million multiplier spectacular.
The new $5 million multiplier spectacular. It's bigger than big. It's big multiplied. The Tennessee Lottery. Game-changing fun.
Hey, what are you getting Mom for Mother's Day?
Flowers. Why? What are you getting?
Limited edition Mother's Day jumbo bucks from the Tennessee Lottery.
Okay.
What's better than flowers?
How?
She could win $75,000.
Yeah, but she likes flowers.
Yeah, she does, Tim. But guess what she likes more? Money. And this ticket has flowers on it and cash in it, so there.
That's not a nice thing to say.
Yeah, well, this isn't going to be either, but it's true. She likes me more.
Nothing says Happy Mother's Day like $75,000. Mother's Day jumbo bucks instant game from the Tennessee Lottery. Game-changing fun.
Okay, I'm hanging up now.
You hang up, I'm going to tell Mom.
CWS Tree Care in Clarksville reminds us, while we may consider it a right to receive blood when hospitalized, we must also consider the responsibility of donating blood to maintain the supply for the community. It is extremely unfortunate for everyone when there is a shortage of blood. Make a difference by doing your part and donate blood today. This message from CWS Tree Care in Clarksville. For information, call 931-801-8280.
It's an exciting night on the red carpet.
The nominees are in and the voting has begun for the Leaf Chronicle Reader's Choice Awards. Be sure to vote for all your favorite businesses, people, and destinations in more than 100 categories. In fact, you can vote every day.
It's easy and it's fun. Simply go to theleafchronicle.com and click on the Reader's Choice nominations link.
That's theleafchronicle.com, Reader's Choice Awards.
What does Immaculate Conception School and Preschool mean to you?
Small class sizes, hands-on learning, a family environment.
Experience Immaculate Conception School and Preschool for yourself.
Enrolling now for K through 8.
For more information, call 645-1865 or visit us online at icschooltn.org. Immaculate Conception School and Preschool,
where the building blocks of faith and learning go hand in hand.
WJZM Radio and WJZM.com is where Clarksville hears the news. If it's going on in Clarksville, it's on WJZM Radio and at WJZM.com. Since 1941, WJZM Radio has been Clarksville's broadcast leader for local news, sports, and current events. Depend on WJZM and WJZM.com to hear what's going on in Clarksville. If it's news, you'll hear it on WJZM Radio and WJZM.com. Clarksville's information station is WJZM Radio and WJZM.com. Clarksville's only radio station for local news, talk, sports. WJZM Radio.
All right, WJZM, we're back, and we're talking about telling the strike story, the soldier story, and like we mentioned earlier, what a story it is. Now I'm the brigade's combat correspondent, okay? The public affairs for the military occupational service, which is known in the Army as the MOS, and you'll find out in the Army there's a lot of acronyms, okay? And I'll do my best to try and explain to you, the audience, what those acronyms are, you know? MOS is everyone's job. There's so many different jobs here in the Army, you know? You got your 11 Bravos, which is your infantrymen. You got your 13 series, which is your artillerymen, okay? All these jobs, they have different numbers. And my number is 46, all right? Yeah, forget about it. All right, and then 46 series is public affairs, combat correspondence, and it's my job to be on the battlefield with the soldiers, where the fight is, and off the battlefield with the soldiers, where the training is, and where all the good things are. And I've been privy and exposed to many great things, and I'm glad that I'm able to relay to you guys those great things. You know. One of them is actually, you know, my deployments that I've been to, and my rendezvous with destiny in Afghanistan, and being sent on the front lines in Kandahar against Taliban, where it was all started from for them, and actually seeing them lose, you know, their hometown home turf. So yeah, I'm going to be explaining a lot of good things, and a little bit about myself. You know, I'm what we call a post 9/11 soldier. Okay, that terrible day of 9/11. I was 2 blocks down that day, and and it was a tough one. You know, I'm in a building working for my father. You know, who's we're doing some construction work. It was good times. You know, good people. You know, back then. You know, you got Vinny and Tony. Forget about it. Getting good coffee for us. But you know, there we are. We're doing a good day of work. It's early in the morning. Beautiful day. You know. Those who weren't there in New York or in that area back then, I got to tell you, that day was gorgeous. It was not a cloud in the sky. It was like a nice 85 degree day, and then all of a sudden, you know, bam, the world changed, you know, I also changed that day too, and you know, ever since then, and you know, running from that falling South Tower is an image I can never get rid of, and for me to give back and to the fight, you know, was for me to sign up and serve. So a few years later, when I got all my what do they call that, ducks in a row, you know, I put my right hand up and I said, hey, Army, I do, you know. So and here I am today, you know. And don't get me wrong, you know, for those who feel the need to serve, it doesn't always have to be in uniform, okay? There's plenty of ways to serve out of uniform as well, but for me, it was me to actually put the boots on, lace them up, and do what I had to do, and make sure my rendezvous with destiny was fulfilling. So and then I joined the Army. They sent me to a place called Fort Sill, Oklahoma, and I'll tell you what, Oklahoma, that's like that's got to be my 34th favorite state. You know, forget about it. But nothing against Oklahomians. I'm sure that's what, you know, they're good people, but man, what a terrible environment to train in, but let me tell you, it made me tough, okay? And that's what basic training was all about. And for those, you know, the civilian audience, I'm going to try and explain as much as I can so you can feel the stuff that the soldiers feel, all right? And the basic training was, it pushed us to our limits physically and mentally, but it made us stronger, and it made us tougher, and it made us fit to fight. Because let me tell you, you know, that's exactly what we signed up to do, is serve our country, and to go along with that is fighting. And so we need to be prepared for that battle. And so they definitely made sure at basic training, and I got to tell you, you know, you watch the movies, okay, you see all the stuff, you see the full metal jacket, okay? You see all that. I got to tell you, it's pretty similar to it, all right? A lot of screaming, a lot of yelling, a lot of attentions, a lot of push-ups. Oh, bada bing. And I'll tell you, my arms are still upset with me for doing those push-ups, but forget about it. They'll be all right. But then after your basic training, you go what is known as your AIT, your after initial training. And this is where your job, where you get to learn your first steps of your MOS, what we mentioned earlier, your military occupational specialty. So here is where I learned how to be a journalist, a combat correspondent, a public affairs specialist. And I'll tell you, it was like, not for nothing, it was like college with push-ups. Oh. Again, my arms were mad. But I'll tell you, and here we push ourselves mentally and physically to our limits, but we learned, and there, that was done at Fort Meade, Maryland. So I'm back East Coast now, okay, and we're looking at time frame 2008, 2009, all right, and it was awesome. I was back home East Coast on the weekends. I got off. I got to go eat some crabs in Maryland. My mouth was very good. Yeah, forget about it. But then after AIT, okay, what do they send me? They go, hey, at the time now, PFC Joe Padula, we're sending you to Fort Campbell. Not for nothing. I go, oh, good. Fort Campbell. I'm a big fan of soups, but I don't know nothing about Fort Campbell. All right, but let me tell you, I definitely found out. So I got my 2 tickets for Fort Campbell, one for me, one for my luggage. And I ended up in Kentucky, the first time I've ever been in Kentucky. And I got to tell you, at the time, Kentucky was about my 38th favorite state. A little rivalry with the Massachusetts people. Yeah, I don't know nothing. But here I am. I'm standing there with my bags, and I'm lost. I'm at Fort Campbell, one of the home of the 101st Airborne Division, Air Assault, the Screaming Eagles. Little did I know what that meant at that time, but let me tell you, I learned. Oh, I learned. But and that's for the first day that I met my boss. That was about April of 2009, and I got to meet Staff Sergeant James P. Hunter. Okay, and I want you people to remember that name because that is a name that will never be forgotten. And as long as I have a voice to say something, I promise you that Staff Sergeant James P. Hunter will not be a forgotten name. Absolutely not, because this is a man that taught me everything to do with telling the soldier's story. He is the one that made it a passion of mine. He turned an infatuation into a way of life for me, and for that I appreciate, and I miss him dearly, and we'll explain later why, I miss him dearly every day. Absolutely. But here I am, I'm at Fort Campbell, young PFC, and, he comes up to me, so you're PFC Padula? I go, yeah, absolutely, Sergeant. Oh, forget about it. He goes, you really talk like that? I go, absolutely, Sergeant. Oh, bada bing. And he goes, don't worry, we'll make it work. And let me tell you, people, that man definitely made it work, because we tell the soldier story in so many different ways. And during the time, I'm going to plug those ways. We tell them on all I do a magazine for the brigade, and it's called The Heartbeat, all right? And I also do a TV show for the brigade. It's called Strike Zone. Get it? Strike. Forget about it, all right? And we also do, now here we do Air Strike, okay? And that's a Strike radio show. And there's so many other things, such as the social media pages, like the Strike Facebook page and the Strike Twitter, right? And you guys just Google it all, and it'll all come up, and you guys got to follow it, because I'm telling you, these men and women that wear today's uniform and the black hearts on their helmet, they are just unbelievable, and I can't stop watching. I can't stop watching, okay? But we're going to go for a little break here, and I'm going to go into the history of Strike and why I can't stop watching, okay? And I'll tell you what, it's going to be good to talk to you in a few bits, all right? WJZM, check it out.
With apps from over 20 digital networks, Charter TV rocks your world.
You can watch them at a car wash. You can watch them at the mall. You can watch them at a petting zoo or at a fancy costume ball. You can watch them in a boring meeting or on a shrimp boat out at sea. Their Charter's on the Go TV apps for no extra fee.
Watch TV whenever, wherever with on-the-go apps from Charter TV.
I'm at a petting zoo, watching TV. Oh, Charter!
stream movies, shows, sports, and more with apps from over 20 digital networks like HBO Go, CNN, and more. Call 855-510-CHARTER today. Some restrictions apply. See charter.com for details.
I was petting a goat. Now I'm on a shrimp boat.
Brought back by popular demand. It's the Gary Matthews Kia Invoice Sale. Plus, you keep the Kia bonus cash in Clarksville on the river. It's here. It's now. No haggle, no hassle invoice pricing on every new 2013 Kia in stock. No one saves you more. This is a limited time offer, so make the switch to Gary Matthews Kia today. New 2013 Sorrento LX. Get invoice pricing, 0% APR for 60 months, and you keep the $1,000 Kia bonus cash. New 2013 Optima LX. Get invoice pricing, 0% APR for 60 months, and you keep the $1,000 Kia bonus cash. It's crazy but true. And every new Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Every credit application accepted. Hurry to Gary Matthews Kia Invoice Sale in Clarksville. Make the switch to save more. MatthewsKia.com. Invoice pricing ensues. Stock numbers 1342, all prices plus tax, title, and license. Cash back from Kia Motors of America. Prices include $457 processing fees. Some dealer incentives and year-end awards can affect actual invoice cost and pricing. 0% with approved credit. Ends 4/30/13.
Since 1979, Action Air has been serving the Clarksville area. And again this year, Action Air wants to help the many dogs and cats in Montgomery County find their forever homes. During the month of April, Action Air, for every service they do, will donate $1 to the Clarksville Humane Society. Last year, Action Air donated over $900. Let's help them do even better this year. When you need action, call Action Air at 647-8525. Get your AC ready for the summer heat while helping save a life. Action Air and the Clarksville Humane Society, a win-win combination.
It's an exciting night on the red carpet.
The nominees are in and the voting has begun for the Leaf Chronicle Reader's Choice Awards. Be sure to vote for all your favorite businesses, people, and destinations in more than 100 categories. In fact, you can vote every day.
It's easy and it's fun. Simply go to theleafchronicle.com and click on the Reader's Choice Nominations link.
That's theleafchronicle.com, Reader's Choice Awards.
When severe weather hits the Clarksville, Fort Campbell area, make sure to tune in to WJZM 1400 AM for all of your severe weather updates. Brought to you by the Augustine Insurance Group, Clarksville's insurance experts since 1972.
Clarksville's only radio station for local news, talk, sports. WJZM Radio.
Hey, WJZM. Good. I'm glad you're still with us. You know, it's good to be here, and we're talking about the Strike Brigade of the 101st Airborne Division Air Assault. Okay, the brigade, the unit, the regiment. Okay, that's been handpicked by generals and presidents to be the what is known commonly as the tip of the spear in many missions throughout the year. All right, and I'm talking about from its beginnings in World War II. Up until now, you know, and I'll tell you what, you know, in gearing up for future, you know, tip-of-the-spear missions, you know, it is nonstop here at the Strike Brigade, and I am going to relay, as best as I can, that message to you fine people. Yeah, forget about it, you know, too easy, all right? So I'll tell you what, before we get into, you know, most recent actions, I'm going to show you about, you know, what the 2nd Brigade, which is the 502nd Infantry Regiment, okay, and they started off in 1942 as the 502nd Parachute Infantry Regiment, okay? And let me explain in people's term what that means, all right? Soldiers load on a plane, they put on a parachute, and they jump off into enemy territory. Okay? Imagine that. Now put yourself in those shoes, okay? Here you are, okay? And this is amazing, okay? In our lineage, and that's why I respect it so much, because it's such courage and bravery, all right? You got these soldiers, and here's how it goes. D-Day's happening. Okay, the 101st has its people jumping in. You got the 502nd, the 506. You got the 327th. Right? You got all these guys just jumping in, and so many different units. How do they differentiate each other? They take playing cards and they put them on their helmets. You know, each suit is a different one. And for the 502nd, today's Strike Brigade is the hearts, okay? And that is why when you go to our social media sites, when you go to our pages, when you watch our TV show, when you read our magazine, you will see the black heart on the helmet. And that is us paying respect to those guys, those men, those heroes back in June 6th who jumped into Normandy from those planes under heavy enemy fire when they put those black hearts on their helmets to make sure that when they landed on ground, all the units got together with each proper unit. Isn't that amazing? Genius. And it's lasting to today, okay? You know, from the Airborne to the Air Mobile to the Air Assault, we still wear those black hearts on our helmets. And let me tell you, it means so much to make sure that heart is definitely moving forward on the battlefield. Absolutely. So, yeah, they jump in, okay? It's Normandy. It's D-Day, all right? And who's the tip of the spear? The Strike Brigade is there. Unbelievable, all right? And then it continues on into there. And I'll tell you what, they got the Presidential Unit Citation Award for that. Let me tell you something. They don't just hand those out. Okay, that's not candy right there. That is an honor and such a hard achievement to earn is the Presidential Unit Citation, but they got it. Okay, and then they move forward. All right, and then I'm going to mention a place here that I'm sure you all have heard of. It's called Normandy. Okay, guess who was there? Guess who was there? Strike was there. The 502nd was there, taking out the Nazis head on. And I'll tell you, you know, in Bastogne, they got once again for winning the fight. They also got another Presidential Unit Citation. And look at that, two pucks. In the Army, we call them pucks. Once again, another acronym. So if you're at home writing down the acronyms, okay, let me tell you better get a couple pens because you're going to run out of ink. It's the Army. Forget about it. All right, so there we go. You know, another puck right then and there. Unbelievable. The 502nd today's Strike Brigade. They finally, when the war ended, they went home and bam. You know, they got. Let me see. I got some other notes here about that. They 2 Medal of Honor recipients from that campaign. The French Croix there. That's France's highest award. They go, here, thank you for being here. You know, here is our highest award. Thank you for liberating us. I mean, on the front line, strike, okay? Fast forward a little bit. Now we're in Vietnam, all right? Strike Brigade, the 502nd, bam. And at the time, also the 501st part of the Strike Brigade. Bam, into Vietnam, making it happen, you know, up and down the entire country of Vietnam, fighting the communists in the north. And there they are, you know, again, you know, they just... 2 more pucks, 2 more Presidential Unit Citation Awards, okay? 4 VUAs, okay? You want to do acronyms? That's Valorous Unit Awards, okay? 4 of them. And then 1 MUC, 1 Meritorious Unit. And I'll tell you, you know, these citations, these awards, again, these are hard-earned awards, okay? And men have fallen and not have come back, and those are our fallen heroes. We call those our fallen heroes, and we will never forget them. And without their sacrifice and their great efforts, I'll tell you, you know, none of the accomplishments, you know, will never be forgotten because of their sacrifice. I promise you that. Not as long as the strike has a venue and an outlet such as WJZM 1400 AM and the Heartbeat, the magazine, and Strike Zone, the TV show. We will always pay honors and homage to those men who paved the way for us soldiers today. All right, you know. During Vietnam, these were also the tip of the spear in creating from airborne, which is jumping out of, you know, airplanes into the battlefield, from helicopters into the battlefield, which was at the time called Air Mobile. Okay, so the 502nd and the 501st at then strike turned into the Air Mobile. The first guys in with the helicopters getting off, attacking the enemy right in their backyard. All right, and after their great successes and accomplishments in Vietnam, you know, they returned home and once again started the tip of the spear in what is called air assault, which is the staple of the 101st Airborne Division. I mean, you hear it all, you know. The 101st Airborne Division, air assault, you know, air assault this, air assault that. Air assault, okay, for those who don't know, is the exfil and infill of soldiers from helicopters into the battle space, all right? And it is the fastest and is a very effective way to get in and out of war, and it's proven us so good. And ever since we've honed that skill, we try and master it, and we have every day, and we've been using it throughout throughout our deployments, even up until recently. Now, you move forward a little bit. I'm going to do a little name drop here, okay? You got Colin Powell in the 70s was a commander at the Strike Brigade, all right? Gives us a little more clout, all right? A great man who set up a lot of great years of success following even his departure. And that's what a true testament of leadership is. You know, you have a great commander, and then they instill these rules and regulations, and they enforce it, and training methods. And even when they're gone, those methods still last today, and that is a true sign of a great leader. And yeah, Colin Powell, you know, I'll tell you, if he's in Clarksville and he's listening, tell him I said, hey, how you doing, all right? Yeah, forget about it, you know. Oh, sir, absolutely. Okay, you know, move forward a little bit, all right? You know, in 1978, I got to tell you this, and this is unbelievable, all right? You know, you had Israel and Egypt just for years going at it, okay? And finally, they signed the Camp David Awards in 78, right? So, and what that pretty much said was, okay, hey, Egypt and Israel, you guys are going to stop fighting, okay? And there's going to be an American force in the middle of you two making sure that none of you two are going to, you know, start up another war. And this was the world mission at the time, okay? The ones who was that was the front lines of the late 70s through the 80s. This was the battle, okay? And who did they send? Strike. You know, they send, once again, the Black Hearts into Egypt, the Sinai, which is the peninsula. It's a triangle, pretty much, and they send Strike over there to make sure that peace was kept, okay? And yeah, and I'll tell you what, you know, there was a great tragedy from that, actually, in December 12th, okay, 1985, while coming home from mission, all right? You got 248 Screaming Eagle soldiers who died in a plane crash from leaving takeoff from Gander, Newfoundland. And yeah, they were on their way home for Christmas. You know, reports said that they were singing Christmas carols, you know, while entering the plane, while boarding, and they crashed. And we still honor them today. I know I mentioned earlier how we honor our fallen, and we never forget. And we do that every year on December 12th. You know, every year we do that here at Fort Campbell, and also in Clarksville too. Not outside of Clarksville. Neighboring town of Hopkinsville.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is a great ceremony, too. Have you been there?
I have.
Absolutely.
It's great.
Oh, can you introduce yourself to the Strike Air?
I'm John Michaels.
Let me tell you, John Michaels. John Michaels is this is the intelligence behind what is going on here with technical assistance and everything. I mean, all I see is a bunch of buttons, and this man sees a bunch of controls, and that's what I'm talking about. So, but you know, in Hopkinsville and also in Gander, Newfoundland, which they still pay honor to every year on December 12th. And, I welcome you all to visit the Fort Campbell site, which you could see one tree was planted per soldier. So you see the 248 trees that are planted. And, and each tree has a stone etched with the name of that fallen hero. And we still talk to their families. And that's another thing I want to bring up here. The soldier is not alone. The soldier always has some type of family, okay? And we always take care of those even when they have fallen. And we still see them on a monthly basis and make our contacts with them. That is for sure. All right, but I tell you what, you know, we're going to fast forward a little bit here, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the Strike and Desert Storm. Yeah, absolutely.
WJZM Radio, Clarksville, Tennessee. The Atlanta Braves play on WJZM Radio.
Swinging a ground ball, left side, toward left, diving try, can't get there. Desmond has it go off his glove and trickle into left center, and the Braves will get 2 runs out of it. Brian McCann guiding one to the opposite side of the infield, where it was wide open over there. Swinging a line drive, left center field, that's going to fall for a hit.
Atlanta Braves baseball, only on WJZM Radio.
Golfers in the Clarksville, Fort Campbell area know that Swan Lake Golf Course is the area's most challenging 18 holes of golf. Located on Dunbar Cave Road, Swan Lake Golf Course presents an enjoyable day on the links. Visit the pro shop and you will find everything you need to get the most enjoyment from the great game of golf. Swan Lake Golf Course, a mature setting with state-of-the-art new greens. Call 648-0479 for your next tee time.
Veterans of Foreign Wars Post 4895 in Clarksville takes time to welcome our troops home. Thank the men and women in our military service for their dedication, selflessness, and courage. May God bless our troops, and may God bless America. This message of appreciation is from Commander Roger Dupre and staff at Veterans of Foreign Wars Post 4895 in Clarksville, welcoming home our troops. For information, call 931-647-6686. Wishing all a safe return.
You've heard that saying, less is more. Well, when it comes to tires, more is less. That is, more traction means less stress on the road. And now, through May 31st, during the Goodyear Get More Stress Less event, you can get up to $160 by mail-in rebate when you purchase a set of 4 select Goodyear or Dunlop tires on the Goodyear credit card. Save big on traction for a confident ride. And remember, they now offer exhaust services and muffler repair services. It's all there at your convenient Car Care Goodyear Center, 1869 Madison Street.
Every home deserves the best and reliable year-round comfort, and Mainstream Heating and Cooling makes it affordable. Now is the perfect time to make that a reality with a high-performance system from Mainstream Heating and Air, with financing from 5.9 to 6% and payments from 84 to 120 months. It's affordable. And don't forget our $49 service calls. Our service calls are always $49, even during the weekend and evening emergencies. Call Mainstream today at 647-9610.
Clarksville Floor Covering has been serving Clarksville since 1961. So when it comes to carpet, hardwood floors, area rugs, and more, you can depend on Clarksville Floor Covering. Located on Spring Street or Floors on Terminal Road across from the mall, you'll find the biggest selections and the best prices in Clarksville. Clarksville Floor Covering features huge selections of tile, laminates, and more. Visit Clarksville Floor Covering and let the experts help you today. Visit Clarksville Floor Covering, Flooring America.
Clarksville's only radio station for local news, talk, sports. WJZM Radio.
All right, JZM, we are back, all right? And I got to tell you something, 1400 AM, it's good to be talking to you, all right? Now, where we just left off, we were talking about Desert Storm, okay? And everyone remembers this. This was the media's baby, okay? This was the make and break for CNN, if you remember, okay? And I'll tell you what, you know, we were talking about Strike and the 502nd Infantry Regiment being sent to the front lines of every battle. Well, guess what? Desert Storm was, it was no different, all right? They took the Black Hearts, all right? Were part of the team that went furthest and deepest into Iraq during Operation Desert Storm, all right? And these guys cut off all that was going to be, you know, the second ambush, you know, when Saddam Hussein, of course, remember this guy, okay, because we revisit him in a little bit. But, yeah, Desert Storm, you know, Strike, you know, General Norm Schwarzkopf, okay, He was the one who selected Strike themselves to be that tip of the spear into Iraq. And, yeah, I got to tell you, you know, and I've, once again, as a combat correspondent, I've been privy and honored to actually sit down and talk to Strike veterans from Desert Storm and listening to their stories, and that's another part of this show, okay? Future episodes, and that's why we're going to need you to come back, okay? We're going to have these veterans come and sit down and talk about what they did back in the day, all right? We're going to have them, you know, we're going to do a little Q&A. That's not an Army acronym, okay? That's more of a, you know, human people acronym. It stands for questions and answers, if you were wondering. But, yeah, we're going to have a little Q&A also with veterans of yesteryear, and I look so forward to that, you know? Because I learned so much just by talking to our heroes of yesterday to go along with our heroes of today, and not for nothing, you know, they have a great story that they can tell themselves through their voice better than I can ever. That is for sure. All right, but I'll tell you what, Desert Storm ends, and Strike kept on going back to Kuwait to make sure that nothing else ever stirred up again. But during that time, and this is a part of history that, I don't know, it didn't get too much media coverage, but and maybe you don't know about it, but Strike was also sent to Panama during the 90s, and Nicaragua. All right, the 502nd was sent over there to help people that were not only suppressed but affected by such natural disasters. And who did they send during the 90s? Bam, they sent Strike. All right, I mean, forget about it. And then you move on a little bit. Then what was the real world mission? Another one that was pretty well publicized, in the beginning was the war in Kosovo. Okay, and who did they send? They sent Strike. They sent Strike to Kosovo, Macedonia. Okay, and now we're talking about into the 2000s. All right, so and during this time frame, not only did they help maintain and keep the peace in Kosovo, they saved the lives of so many people, and people forget. There was kinetics. There was gunfights in these battles, and for some reason, it just wasn't publicized as much. But this was still a deployment. This was still a harsh environment, a combat zone, but Strike soldiers, they train up for this. That leadership that they have, it sets them up for success. So, bam, what were they? Successful again. All right? And now, while Strike was over there, that's when 9/11 happened, okay? And we talked about it earlier, but once again, everyone remembers where they were on 9/11, and let me tell you something. You should never forget where you were on 9/11, okay? Because we all have our individual stories of what happened that day. It may not be the same as mine, being there was a couple blocks away with that, with those towers coming down, but I'll tell you, your story is just as important, okay? Because it affects what we're about to lead up and talk about with the Iraq mission and in Afghanistan, okay? Because like I said, Strike gets sent to the front lines, and I'll tell you, 9/11 happens. The soldiers start getting sent to Afghanistan. This is when Strike was now forced to come on back home, retrain, refit, and bam. 2003, sent into the opening surge in Iraq. OIF-1. Who went into Mosul, the northern city in Iraq? Bam, they sent Strike. And what do? They make it happen. They bring a war-torn area, okay, Mosul, and they win that fight, okay? And then, they come back home, they train up again, and guess what? They go back to Iraq, all right? And on this, people forget, Uday and Qusay Hussein, all right, who was responsible for capturing and making sure that their evil missions. I mean, these guys were just evil people, and who took them out? Strike soldiers, the Blackhearts. The Blackhearts were the ones who got Saddam's kids, and then again they come back and they go back out to Iraq again for a third deployment, okay? And this is all happening in such quick time, and people forget, back then they also did 15-month deployments, okay? Just put yourself in that situation, all right? These scenarios where you're put into a war zone, for such a long time, and we addressed the military family, and I want to address them again in this segment here because it's very tough on the soldier, absolutely, sweating and bleeding and pushing through adversity. But back home, that family member, that wife, that husband, that spouse, that child, that grandmother, that mother, that father, they're also going through a different type of battle. It's not as physical, but man, it's tough. It's tough mentally, and so again, much respect to the military family and the FRGs that you can normally listen to on this radio station, WJZM. The MW Law has such great programs for them, and man, I got to tell you, it's humbling to watch them in action. Okay, now after 3 deployments to Iraq, the Strike Brigade comes back and they get refitted and they get ready and they train up to fight to be the tip of the spear in Afghanistan in OEF 10-11. Now, OEF, for those, the acronym book, okay? Mark this one down as Operation Enduring Freedom. 10-11 stands for 2010 through 2011. And, this was when, General Petraeus, and this is when President Barack Obama, they'd selected the Strike Brigade to head up the surge, to be the tip of the spear in southern Afghanistan, Kandahar, okay? And I'll tell you, if you haven't heard of Kandahar yet, you're going to hear of it real soon because now that a couple years have passed from that great mission, you know, where you're going to hear about Operation Dragon Strike, which was pretty much, and this is quotes, the big mission for Afghanistan, the push that broke Taliban's back, and who was there? The Black Heart Strike Brigade, all right? And in future episodes, we're going to be talking to a lot of those veterans that were there, in Iraq and in the Afghan theater, okay? And they've got so much to tell you, and it's going to be amazing stories, on the battlefield stories, valorous stories about a distinguished Service Cross awardee, Sergeant Felipe Pereira. We're going to get him in here, and he's going to talk to you, and it's you people are going to be sitting there. You're going to turn up the dial, and you're going to be, oh, you got to be kidding me. This is unbelievable, and I'm telling you, it is unbelievable. And that's why it is an honor to help tell you this story. Now, we're going to take another quick break here for WJZM 1400 AM, but I'll tell you what, when we get back, we're going to talk about Operation Dragon Strike, the push that broke Taliban. Absolutely.
Since 1941, serving the public interest. WJZM Radio, Clarksville, Tennessee.
Brought back by popular demand. It's the Gary Matthews Kia Invoice Sale. Plus, you keep the Kia bonus cash. In Clarksville on the river. It's here. It's now. No haggle, no hassle invoice pricing on every new 2013 Kia in stock. No one saves you more. This is a limited time offer. So make the switch to Gary Matthews Kia today. New 2013 Sorrento LX. Get invoice pricing, 0% APR for 60 months, and you keep the $1,000 Kia bonus cash. New 2013 Optima LX. Get invoice pricing, 0% APR for 60 months, and you keep the $1,000 Kia bonus cash. It's crazy but true. And every new Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Every credit application accepted. Hurry to Gary Matthews Kia Invoice Sale in Clarksville. Make the switch to save more. MatthewsKia.com. Invoice pricing ensues. Stock numbers 1342, all prices plus tax, title, and license. Cash back from Kia Motors of America. Prices include $457 processing fee. Some dealer incentives and year-end awards can affect actual invoice cost and pricing. 0% with approved credit. Ends 4/30/13.
Heard about the new $5 million multiplier spectacular instant game from the Tennessee Lottery?
$5 million multiplier spectacular?
Yeah, largest top prize in Tennessee Lottery instant game history.
Largest top prize?
Yep, 10 prizes from $1 million to $5 million.
$5 million bucks?
Yeah, over $160 million in total prizes.
$160 million?
What, are you just repeating me?
$5 million multiplier spectacular.
The new $5 million multiplier spectacular. It's bigger than big. It's big multiplied. The Tennessee Lottery. Game-changing fun.
Hey, what are you getting Mom for Mother's Day?
Flowers. Why? What are you getting?
Limited edition Mother's Day jumbo bucks from the Tennessee Lottery.
Okay.
What's better than flowers?
How?
She could win $75,000.
Yeah, but she likes flowers.
Yeah, she does, Tim. But guess what she likes more? Money. And this ticket has flowers on it and cash in it, so there.
That's not a nice thing to say.
Yeah, well, this isn't going to be either, but it's true. She likes me more.
Nothing says Happy Mother's Day like $75,000. Mother's Day jumbo bucks instant game from the Tennessee Lottery. Game-changing fun.
Okay, I'm hanging up now.
You hang up, I'm going to tell Mom.
Prices are falling fast at Rent-A-Center. It's the rack roll down. We've rolled down prices throughout the store to their lowest levels ever. Shop our new lower prices on your favorite brands. Everyone's pre-approved for 90 days, same as cash, or flexible weekly or monthly payments with no credit needed. Hurry in and save like never before with new lower prices at Rent-A-Center. See store for details. Pre-approval means no credit check or credit required. Rental purchase transaction, 90 days, same as cash, now valid in Vermont.
Hey, Flo.
Yeah?
Let's wrap up this leaf blowing, and then we can finish pruning the shrubs up front.
Already done. Hey, one question.
Yep.
Just hypothetically, if the shrubs were pruned to look like cartoon animals, that would be a good thing, right? Hypothetically?
Insuring your business vehicles with Progressive is like having Flo on the road with you. Low down payments, great discounts, and flexible billing options. Now that's Progressive. Visit Progressive.com today. United Financial Casualty Company and Affiliates.
Clarksville's only radio station for local news, talk, sports. WJZM Radio.
All right, and And we're back. You know, it's Sergeant Joe Padula, you know, from the 2nd Brigade Combat Team Strike, 101st Airborne Division Air Assault, and you're listening to Air Strike. All right, and I got to tell you, we were just talking about the strike past and the strike history and the valorous stuff that went with it, and I'm about to bring up to you, we're in to bring it back into it, we're now in Afghanistan, okay? It's Operation Enduring Freedom 2010 through 2011, and yeah, we're in southern Afghanistan, and I'm going to mention a date here, okay? June 18th, 2010 was the day I lost my boss, who I mentioned earlier, and my leader, and a man who I never told, and I should have, I consider him a brother. Okay, that's Staff Sergeant James P. Hunter. An IED took him out, and for those, an IED stands for an improvised explosive device. And this is probably the main weapon used by Taliban and all the insurgents, okay, our enemy. All right, and it's like fighting a ghost. You don't know where these things are. You got the enemy far away, detonating them, and it's a tough battle. And it's a battle that we faced, and it's a battle we won. But I'll tell you, during that Operation Enduring Freedom 2010 and 11, we lost about 66 of our heroes from attached to our unit. And like I said earlier, we will never forget our fallen heroes and our fallen comrades. And Staff Sergeant Hunter, he was our first KIA, which stands for Killed in Action, there for our Afghanistan deployment. But it was a tough loss for us, and it's really hard to recover when you lose your boss there in theater, and he was out on mission doing his combat correspondence job, doing what we do. We love to tell the soldier story, and he was out there, click, click, click with the camera and video, and asking the interview questions, hey, how you doing? And on one of the dismounted patrols, okay, dismounted means walking, okay, soldiers are walking patrol. Bam, the IED took him out, and with that we also lost a medic that was working on him, because the insurgents like to put up a lot of secondary IEDs now that we learned, and taking out the medic who went up there. That was Park, Benjamin Park, and we miss him too. We miss all of them, but we will continue our mission, because and we will do them proud, and we will do them justice. We will not stop, and we will make sure that the mission gets accomplished. But yeah, with that being said, so we continued press on in Operation Dragon Strike, okay? Here we are, birthplace of Taliban, Kandahar, all right? They send the Strike Brigade, the Black Hearts are on the ground, and I'll tell you, the enemy definitely knew who we were, okay? We intercepted chatter with them, and our S2 guys, which stands for our intelligence people. So, yeah, we'll be calling them S2. That's our intelligence teams. Intelligence intercepts messages, from Taliban saying the Black Hearts are here and they are barbarians, okay? Because the Strike Brigade, let me tell you, really gave it to this enemy that uses the IEDs and likes to fire and then put their weapon down as if they weren't firing. That's a tough enemy to fight, but I'll tell you, we took it to them with our Afghan National Army partners and shoulder to shoulder, shana b'shana in their native tongue. We just pushed forward and took out Taliban where it all started. In a place called, Zari and Maywand and Panjaway and Arghandab. These names all sound foreign to you, but I'll tell you, this is where it all started for them. And it's funny because destiny, where they all trained, these terrorists trained, where they got their brains molded and sculpted to take these towers down that so many people got affected from, myself included, okay? Now I'm sent to where they did this, and I'm walking on the same dirt that they learned to kill Americans on, and being a part of taking that away from them was very special to me. And that's why I embrace telling their story, because it means so much to me that I was surrounded by heroes, my heroes, that make me feel proud to be an American soldier. Absolutely. So there we go. We remove Kandahar from the grips of Taliban. We give it back to its people and the Afghan National Army and the Afghan National Security Forces. You'll hear them known as ANA and ANSF. And I'll tell you, Kandahar is a much different place now today because of the actions of Strike compared to what it was prior to us landing there. And many air assault missions, as we mentioned earlier, we were able to do this, and we hold our head up high, and we're pending a Presidential Unit Citation Award. Okay, we can't wait for this to be approved. Remember, I mentioned earlier the puck and how important this is. Okay, Strike is about to get a puck. The Presidential Unit Citation Award for what it had done in Operation Dragon Strike OEF 10-11. I mean, it's unbelievable. We were like at Normandy, but in Afghanistan. We were at Bastogne, but in Afghanistan. Okay, I got to let you people know that the soldiers that I'm going to be talking to you about are very important people that you need to know, and when you do see them, you shake their hand, and because you know what, they want to shake your hand, because that's the way these are. These are modest people that just want to get the mission done to make a life better for us all. And again, it has been an honor to watch them fight, And most recently, Strike was picked to be the tip of the spear in what is known as the advisory mission. All right, where we're now transferring combat power over to the Afghan National Forces, the ANSF. And the way they're doing this is by teaching and pretty much just letting the ANA and the Afghan National Police, the Afghan National Army, and the Afghan National Security Forces, take over the missions. We are no longer the lead missions, and our Afghan partners are now, taking over combat responsibilities, and Strike was the tip of the spear for this mission, and they are all back now, and OEF 12-13 was for them, and all of our Strike soldiers are back home now, and it's great to see everyone here, and we got all of the footage from Afghanistan, Iraq, and the Vietnam, and our Gander fallen, and we have all of these on our products, okay? And I want to tell you about these products, okay? Because what I just mentioned, you could see it all visually on a piece that the Strike Brigade put together, and it's called Combined Task Force Strike the Movie, all right? And you can watch it on YouTube. It's too easy, all right? You go to YouTube, you go in the search box, all right? You type in Strike BCT, that's STRIKEBCT, all one word, all right? And you click, search, and then bam, you'll see the Screaming Eagle, okay? And you'll see the Strike emblem, all right? You click on that, and you can see all the 36 videos currently that are up there, and that includes Strike Zone, the TV show, which is, pretty much what's going on here in the Strike Brigade in a visual aspect. And from there, you can also watch the Combined Task Force Strikes, and you can also watch, the Strike in the also mainstream. I mean, here's how famous Strike is, okay, people? Top Gear, great show on the History Channel. They come to and they go, we were thinking about doing a great idea for a TV show. Who should we do it? And the Strike goes, yeah, how about this? Okay, and bam, bada bing, bada boom, Top Gear, Strike, on TV. You could check it out. I mean, it aired, I think it had over 10 million views within its airing dates, and you could check it out, what took place right here at inside the walls of Fort Campbell during a training session as they covered it. So, yeah, check that on the YouTube page. Okay, you're going to want to go to the Facebook page, all right? You're going to want to go to your Facebook in the search box. You type in 2ND Brigade Strike. That's 2nd Brigade Strike, all right? Space those words out, too, okay? It looks too mushy in the Facebook. You don't want to do that. And then you'll see the Black Hawk, the one that I've been talking about this whole time, the Black Hawk. And then you want to click on the Black Hawk, you press like, and I'll tell you, you could see all of the events that are going on, the training that's going on, the ceremonies that's going on, the honoring that's going on. You could see all the Strike comments, all the Strike posts, and, you can even watch, Strike Zone, and soon listen to Air Strike. Forget about it, too easy. All right, and there's so many other things that you could check out through the Strike media pages. Linking with Strike at the Strike Twitter. Okay, you go to the Twitter, you do the @ sign, which is also known as the ampersand. and you type in, at Strike BCT. I'm telling you, we make it too easy for you not to follow, and I'm got to tell you, you want to follow, okay? Because if you want to get inspired, if you want to get motivated, if you want to have that good feeling inside, watch these things. Look at these guys in action and gals in action. Be a part of the Strike history. And I'll tell you, we're going to be back here again next Friday. Okay, and it's going to be the same time, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m., also known as 1300 or 1400 in Army time. Yeah, forget about it. Another kind of acronym. All right, and I'm going to be introducing you to these heroes that I'm so passionate about. Okay, and I got to tell you, before I do go, you're going to see also the Strike on the military channel April 30th. All right, we're going to post it on our Facebook page on when to watch. But yeah, you're going to watch live footage caught with my helmet cam from Afghanistan on the military channel from Operation Dragon Strike. The push that broke Taliban. So again, I want to say thanks for listening. It is an honor to tell the Strike story, and you are listening to Airstrike. Hey, absolutely.
Since 1941, serving the public interest. WJZM Radio, Clarksville, Tennessee.